Welcome to Road America as Ferrari turns this fantastic circuit red for this weekend of the Ferrari Challenge, an extraordinary place just outside the village of Calgary. This extraordinary track, some 4 miles long and really challenging for the drivers, will offer a fitting test in the sunshine as well, as the weather conditions are glorious and set for our drivers across their races this weekend as we reach the very sharp end of Ferrari Challenge North America for 2023. Having been to Miami and Cota and Road Atlanta and Montreal and Sonoma, here we find ourselves then at Road America, ready for the lights to go green. Well, the weather conditions here at Road America, perhaps not quite as balmy as we had anticipated or enjoyed yesterday, but for the moment it is dry, and we hope for the duration of our Trofeo Pirelli race that will remain the case. Quite a lot of cloud around. And therefore the sun really struggling to peek through those clouds at the moment as we reach the conclusion of our North American 2023 calendar here at Road America. Of course, there is still the finale mondiale to come at Mugello in Tuscany right at the end of October. That will be the round 7 of our 2023 series, and what a phenomenal series it has been across Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli&AM. This is a wonderful location for a racing circuit, and I've really enjoyed being here. And Shay can tell us more because we're quite close to Canada, relatively.
Yes, we are. We're almost on equal level with Toronto. So to give you an idea of how far north we are here in the great state of Wisconsin, known for cheese and bratwurst and corn, of course. This time of year is when autumn starts to set in, but all those foods are still, well within season, as always. And this is the home of one of America's best racetracks, the Park of Speed. Road America, 4.048 miles, 14 turns, with some of the most infamous corners. You've got turn 1 and turn 3, very good passing opportunities. Turn 5, well known for people being over exuberant and sometimes making it work. The carousel, which leads into the kink, and then that ends at Canada Corner. The rumor was that if you missed your braking marker, you could go all the way north of the border. Billy Mitchell Bend is turn 13, and then turn 14 you have to get right because it's a very long, all uphill straight to try and remember, oh yeah, I should move my braking marker back just a foot next time.
Well, there you can see in shot there the hospitality here for our Ferrari Challenge weekend, and what a great place that has been to socialize with the drivers and coaches and family, of course. And another part of our presentation family, as always, is Amanda Busick. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shay and Dave, and this is a good sight here as the Ferraris are going out on their recon lap. That means we're just moments away from race start for the last race here in North America. It's hard to even believe it, but it was interesting in qualifying here earlier when we had the wet conditions that turned dry, so a little bit of a mixed grid, as you would say, in the classes, and I think that's going to provide for some excellent racing here today. Now, we've been talking about point situations. It could be the fact that both of the classes could lock up right here, but you know those drivers aren't going to want to have that anywhere in their mind. But if that's so, Shay, I think you were mentioning a vacation in Italy maybe for some of these guys later on this year, but no, what a fabulous season. Congratulations to all, and for a lap around Road America, it's been an excellent weekend so far, and Mark Muso takes us through it.
Hi, I'm Mark Muso, driver of the number 13 car with Ferrari of Ontario, and I'm here to take you for a lap around Road America. Coming up the start-finish at Road America, getting into 7th gear. We're getting ready for turn 1. Your brake point is the orange marker there, gearing down to 5th gear. Carrying enough speed, rolling speed, turn on the throttle quickly. Driving down to turn 3, braking at the end of the wall, down to 4th gear. Getting tight early apex, and then on the power fast, get down for the next long straight. You'll be down to 7th gear here, and braking just at about the 300 marker. Back to the throttle up the hill. Pull down to 5th gear, and then braking right by the fence down to 4th. getting in tight back on the throttle again, and approaching next corner in 5th gear, slight breathe on the throttle, back to full power. Coming down, you're into 5th gear, then down to 4th, right into the apex back on, and as you're approaching the bridge, you're pulling into 5th gear and then fluttering into the carousel, trying to maintain as much throttle as you can, getting tight to the apex as you approach the end so you can get back to full power, opening up the hands quickly so you don't lose the rear, and tapping the brakes slightly in 6th gear at the 200 marker into the kink, back to full power, making sure you're in position. This will be at 7th gear towards the end into the Canada corner, then braking right down to 4th gear at the 400 marker, and tight to the apex, getting onto the throttle quickly because you got a big climb uphill, staying to the right, and then a quick breathe on the throttle, and then back to full power here. And as you're approaching the last corner, you're down to 4th gear, making sure not to blow this because it's a high-speed straight. You want to make sure you finish the lap and start your next lap at good speed. And that is the full lap of Road America.
Thank you so much. What a lap that was. And Shay, the splitter cam, just one of the onboards that we have there, really shows you the speed of this. I've got goosebumps just watching that.
Oh man, this track too, it's so impressive because your minimum speed is always so high. I mean, this is one of the fastest tracks that you come to any weekend or week out, and particularly for the Ferrari Challenge cars. I mean, you have that long front straight, but you also have the long run between the exit of the carousel and Canada corner, so your max speeds, they're up there quite a bit.
You bet. Wow, that was really, really exciting. So the cars then, as you can see, assembling there, and there is the number 13 car of Mark Musso. And again, just displaying this wonderful livery that we have on all of our 488 Challenge Evo cars then that take part in the Ferrari Challenge. We have the Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli&AM drivers. And Amanda made the point, Shay, earlier on, that it's a bit of a mix-up in terms of qualifying. And by mix-up, I mean a mix-up in terms of the grid that we've got, which is going to make for a compelling race.
It really is. Championship leader in the Trofeo Pirelli&AM class rolls off 5th in class because with the mixed conditions, it meant that they went out on the slick weather tires, but their track was still a little bit tetchy. So everybody walking around the track for the first couple of laps and then getting into it. So we saw the lap times falling lap after lap after lap. But our overall pole sitter is Onofrio Triarsi, a man who is coming in for his 2nd race in this category. He's a former series champion in other iterations of the race car, not the 488. So very impressive performance, and almost won the race yesterday.
Yes, almost. Matt Kojewski, who is championship leader, running in P2. Dylan Medler will be P3. Manny Franco, of course, P4. We'll be bringing you the grid in full in due course. Of course we will. But it was Chris Cagnazzi who put a pole position for the Pirelli&AM drivers ahead of Omar Balkasoon. It was a brilliant driving quali for Omar.
It was mega for Omar. He did such a good job to utilize the draft and maximize the speed that he could carry down the front straight. He did it a couple of times. We saw him using other cars. Great effort from Omar, the Ferrari Fort Lauderdale driver, starting 2nd in class and 12th overall on the grid. He should have a really good day.
Yeah, very much looking forward to seeing how he can use that pace during the course of the race. 30-minute race to come from our Ferrari Challenge drivers across Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli&AM. Final bits of advice being passed on. The engineers just taking a look at the tyre pressures and making sure they're optimized so that the cars are in the most perfect condition to go racing. And going racing is what we want to do here. Is Amanda Busick.
And it's almost bittersweet, but for one last time here at Road America on North American soil, drivers, start your Ferrari engines.
Right on cue.
Love it.
Well done. Thanks, Amanda. And yes, the drivers do start their engines, and there is our pole sitter then. the Triassi car. Very much looking forward to seeing how that's going to develop with Matt Kojeski, of course, right alongside. And then Dylan Medler and Manny Franco, both very dangerous from the second row of the grid, Shay.
Very much will be. And another guy that we have to keep an eye on is Tony Davis, because he is the man who knows how to do fireworks. He put on quite the display for us yesterday in the race, and then followed it up again last night with a phenomenal showing, comparable only to what you would see at Disney World in North American soil. So it was something that everybody enjoyed. Stated hospitality, enjoyed the night with the Ferrari bigwigs that were there, and then got a wonderful display set to music, very thematic, and it was quite enjoyable. But Tony promised us he'll try and do a little bit tamed down fireworks for the race today. He's still going to be pushing as hard as he can for that win, though.
Of course he is, and well done to Tony and all the crew that put on such a wonderful display last night. It was really enjoyable, so fantastic stuff. Okay, we are just moments away now for our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli race. As the drivers will potentially weave from side to side to try and generate just a little bit of temperature into the tyres. What they do, they weave from side to side. They also brake really heavily, because the heat that dissipates from the brakes through the rims onto the tyres is also very helpful as well. And you can see Manny Franco there doing that. So too is Jason McCarthy. Here's the grid in full for you then. On a Frio Triazzi going from P1, Matt Kojeski, championship leader P2. They are ahead of Dylan Medler and Manny Franco. And here's Shay with row 3 of our Trofeo Pirelli grid.
It is John Bennett, multi-time race winner at this circuit, who will start next to Jason McCarthy, 2-time race winner in the Trofeo Pirelli category. The last time we raced at Road America in 21, Michael Petramalo and Custodio Toledo make up row number 4.
Dave Musial 2.0 goes from P9 with Roberta Perena going from P10. That's the 5th row of the grid, and to the 6th row where we find the best of our Trofeo Pirelli&AM drivers, Christopher Cagnazzi and Omar Balkasoon, P11 and P12.
It's Brian Cook and Tony Davis making up row number 7, the second row of the grid for Trofeo Pirelli&AM, and then championship leader Justin Rothberg alongside race winner Brad Favre.
Be interested to see what Rothberg can do from there. They have Dave Musial and Chuck Whittle behind them on row 9. It's P17 and 18 on our overall grid. And Michael Mathis and Michael Porter, they go from P19 and P20.
It'll be Lawrence Wynn starting in the 21st position alongside Mark Musa, the guy who gave us that wonderful lap of the track just a few moments ago. Brandon Cruz and McCade Wang set to roll off on the 12th row of the grid.
So that is the grid in full, and I have to say the sense of anticipation I have for this particular race, Shay, the last in the North American Series on North American soil, that's for sure. There are some very important prizes up for grabs, potentially.
We could have champions at the end of the race today, and that's what we have to keep in the back of the mind, and that's also what needs to be thought very clearly about by Matt Krzyzewski and Justin Rothberg. Justin, right now, is in a place where he can't clinch it. P5, he needs to work up. Krzyzewski could be safe where he is. Amanda, what's the atmosphere like down on the grid?
Well, Matt told me just ahead of this race that he's going to have a harness on himself today, but said it was just yesterday that he remembers Onofrio Triarzi in his rearview mirror flashing his lights saying hello to him, so he'll have the opportunity to be able to potentially do that here today. It is that our 2-time champ at the head of this grid, Onofrio Triarzi. He was the champion in this class back in 2012 and 2013. So if Matt's going to have a harness on himself, it'll be interesting, because I imagine there'll be a battle between these two.
I thought he said that flashing the lights doesn't mean hello. Now I'm confused, because that's what I always took it as. Dave, did you think about the same thing?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
of course. I hang on your every word, Shay. Right, the cars then, the final stage is what they'll do. They'll line up side by side in grid formation behind the Richard Mille safety car. The safety car will peel off into the pit lane. Then it will be the responsibility of Triazzi and Kojeski to control the pace of the rolling start heading in towards turn number 1. You can see them just beginning to get into side by side grid formation right now.
And it is Triarzi's discretion as to when he decides to go. There is a box in effect that race control deems it okay to lead the green flag, if you will. That's the right that the pole sitter earns. So once Triarzi gets in that box, which race director Todd Snyder would have had the conversation with him earlier as to where that is, then he can decide to go and maybe, just maybe, catch Krzyzewski out. But they must stay in their column formations until they've crossed the start-finish line. Anyone who moves out of column formation before then or switches lanes, that's an immediate penalty.
Let's go on board and split the screen here with Dave Musial 2.0 then right in the thick of it. And boy, they are bunched up very, very closely for this start of this Trofeo Pirelli race. Let's go racing then. Good start from Triasi, I think, and a very good start from Dylan Medler as well, who's trying to mix it right at the front of the pack. So as they break now for turn number 1, Krzyzewski very brave around the outside. So too Manny Franco, who runs out wide.
We have a car that went way out wide going through turn 1. Could not identify which one it was. I think it was Custodia Toledo, actually. And there we go. We've got Jason McCarthy taking a look down the inside of Manny Franco going through turn 3. Everybody is still side by side. They're still clean too, Dave.
Absolutely, and we stayed on board with Dave Musial 2.0 to see what it was like from a driver's side perspective. What a shot that was. Here comes Tony Davis.
Is that Justin Rothberg already that he's dealing with?
I think it is. So Justin Rothberg then with a blistering start, and oh, it's around has gone. That's Brian Cook. That's Brian Cook. Now, thankfully, every other driver avoids, and Brian Cook puts the car pointing back in the right direction again. I didn't really see the start of that, but I think it was unassisted. I think he was just on cold tyres, and just the back end of the car overtook the front.
Fully agree with what you said. I didn't see the start of it either, but it looked like a one-car incident. As there is contact further back, and Musial Sr. goes around. That is car number 30. He is going to back into the wall, hit the brakes harder. Let's see if he managed to stay off of it. Well, he's missing his rear wing, so no, but he is continuing around. We should stay green.
Yes, we should, as we just see Brian Cook going through on shot. Brian Cook, of course, who went around.
Broken rear suspension for Musial, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't
it?
Yes, absolutely. So there we are. Bit of incident then on the opening lap of this Trofeo Pirelli race, but thankfully everyone pointing in the right direction and continuing to race.
I think Manny Franco has lost a couple positions because now he's battling with Michael Petromalo as they go through Canada Corner. John Bennett is clear of both of them. He's up to 4th.
You're right, and you've been extolling the virtues of John Bennett, and John Bennett surely is showing his prowess right now, isn't he?
He's a man who's long ago earned my respect, and I remember interviewing him after winning a major race overall. He had tears in his eyes, and he said, "I'm just a businessman who had a dream to go racing, and now this has happened." Severe damage to the back of Dave Musial Sr.'s car as he did have that off-track incident. It looked like it was the exit of turn 6. If I'm to be believed on that. He has stopped, but the race officials have chosen to leave it green for now. Hopefully we can get him recovered before the field gets around and be able to stay green. Chris Cagnazzi with a fantastic start, by the way, up to 8th overall, and 2 cars between he and Omar Balkasoon for 2nd.
Yes, and Justin Rothberg running P3 in class at the moment, but as you say, he's got 4 cars ahead of him before he can even get on terms with Chris Cagnazzi. And Matt Krzyzewski down to P3 in Trofeo Pirelli because Dylan Medler is running in P2. So here we can see Manny Franco is having a bit of a struggle here with Michael Petromalo.
He is.
Manny Franco then running just a little bit wide there. Petromalo not able to do anything about it there. It's not an overtake place, that's for sure. But you can see that Petromalo has absolutely got Manny Franco right in his targets. That car of Manny Franco's just doesn't seem to be as steadfast as it should.
I was going to say, no offense whatsoever meant towards Michael Petromalo, but I think Manny Franco's battle right now is actually with his car.
Yes.
It looks like he's trying to come up to grips with how to best handle the race car that he's got underneath him for this race. Michael Petromalo, sensing opportunity, is trying to pounce.
Yes, absolutely.
As rightly he should.
Yeah, of course. There we can see just going through on shot there, and some brilliant driving going on, and just hear something screaming in tyres in the background, and have brilliant...
That would be the carousel.
And that would be the carousel, and the brilliant audio that we have in our ears that we can hear as well. So Triasi leading for Trofeo Pirelli, Cagnazzi leading for Pirelli&AM as those cars come screaming past us. Those wonderful 488 Challenge Evos. There's Tony Davis going through. And then we can see the race leading on a Freo Triasi car, a Ferrari of Central Florida. Now, bear in mind, he is running P1. Dylan Medler is P2, and our championship leader is P3. Matt Krzyzewski with John Bennett right up his trumpet, very nearly. And they are ahead of Manny Franco, Michael Petromalo, then Jason McCarthy, before we see the leader in Pirelli&AM, which is Chris Cagnazzi.
As it is right now, I'm not doing math, I'm just looking at a chart and pointing. Matt Krzyzewski can finish 3rd If Jason McCarthy is 7th, the championship is clinched by 49 points.
Wow.
That's
Well,
good enough.
Matt Kojewski then driving with his head then, presumably, Shay.
Yep, that is. I would really hope that Alessandro Balzon has the same chart that I am, the driver coach for Matt Kojewski, saying, it's good. It's good. Don't do anything. You're fine.
Yeah. I'm sure LA is across it.
As he so often is.
As he so often is. As he so often is. You're quite correct.
Fast lap after the opening gambit. Dylan Medler has that for the Trofeo Pirelli class. And for AM, it is Brian Cook. After that incident, he has now turned it up to 1 million and is just going as quickly as he can.
Yes, he's got the bit between his teeth now to try and right those wrongs, hasn't he? As we look at Custodio Toledo, then chasing down the car of Chris Cagnazzi, and right behind Custodio Toledo is Roberto Perena. They are battling for the P8 position in Trofeo Pirelli, as you can see in graphics on screen, and there's about 6/10 between them. So the car that's ahead of them in this three-way fight is actually in a completely different class, a Pirelli&AM class driver, Chris Cagnazzi, who's done a very, very good job. In P2 for AMS, it's Omar Balkasoon, and P3 it's Justin Rothberg, with Tony Davis chasing hard as well.
Chris Cagnazzi's fastest lap, which was the last lap around, was slower than the 2 cars behind him. So Custodio Toledo and Roberto Perena will be itching to try and get around Chris Cagnazzi, because eventually he would separate them back from Jason McCarthy. So they do need to figure out a time and a place to execute the pass. But I don't think they're going to have an opportunity on this lap. They're going to need to wait until the end of the front straight.
And it is such a long lap here, isn't it? As you've explained, it's some 4 miles long, and you really do have to pick your potential overtakes very, very carefully indeed. And once you've picked it, you've got to be committed to it.
Correct. Decisiveness is what's rewarded around this venue.
So there you can see in the number 55 car, Roberto Perena then, and you see the T behind that. He's in the T car, isn't he, Roberto Perena? The 3 almost locked and welded together then as they climb the crest there. And here you can see Matt Kojewski is just beginning to reel in the car of Dylan Medler, and making haste his escape up the road is Onofrio Triazzi, doing a very good job. He's got very nearly 2 seconds margin.
Fastest lap of the race last time around, so Onofrio pushing very hard. And apologies to Onofrio, I misspoke. I thought that he had a family because I saw a little child at Sebring. Turns out it was not his little child.
Oh.
So not quite yet starting a family, but Onofrio, who does race with his brother-in-law in other series, they've won championships together in
wonderful.
Ferrari.
Keep it in the family. It's wonderful when you can do that and share the passion and excitement and emotions as well. So Kojewski then really chasing Dylan Medler. Now Dylan Medler, though, with a clean pair of heels that he's able to show to Kojewski for the moment. And he's not putting one tyre 1 centimetre wrong at the moment. He's got it all completely and totally under control. And John Bennett is not so far behind them. And I just wonder now whether Manny Franco has got to grips with the battling car that he seemed to have.
Michael Pedramalo is still harassing the back of Manny Franco, though, so I don't think that battle is done yet. Chris Cagnazzi has been passed by Custodio Toledo, but now Roberto Perena is looking for his opportunity because he doesn't want to let Custodio just go free into the wild. Take the position, it's fine, you have it. They're not that polite in Ferrari Challenge.
No, they are polite, but not that polite, particularly when they're in the race, of course. So we will see when that happens, and if that happens, as again, some very interesting moves here. And of course, now sometimes we see extraordinary pace from drivers when they've been wronged. And that is extraordinary pace, isn't it, from Brian Cook that we're seeing right now as he's trying to claw his way back up the order.
He has passed Chuck Whittle. He is looking at the back of Brandon Cruz, and the last lap around, he was 2 and a bit seconds faster than the 2 of them. So Brian Cook's pace is undeniable at this venue, and then it will be another 2 seconds to try and catch up to Mark Musso. Well, at Brian Cook's current pace, that'll be a lap.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So he went around at the very early stages of this race and late on the brakes there, and absolutely committed, as I said, you've got to be.
Oh.
But is he going to be able to get the momentum going up the hill? No, he's coming in.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I was about to say, he's just done exactly what you don't want to do, which is scupper your pace going down that long front straight by parking it at the apex, but he did something completely different, as we are almost a third of the way through this race already.
Going into turn number 1, you can just see that Michael Mathis was in something of a fight there, and right behind Michael Mathis now is the Michael Porter car. Now, yesterday, for my money, the number 22 car provided some awesome on-track entertainment for us, and is continuing to do that now as he goes side by side with Michael Mathis here. So it is a long drag, isn't it? And it's king of who is going to be bravest here. And Michael Porter, is he going to close the door? Wow.
Porter was on the line, so he was able to have better braking performance than Michael Mathis. Gets the pass done.
Absolutely brilliant driving to see and really enjoy, and clean, tidy, absolute textbook overtake, and doing it really, really well.
Chris Cagnazzi continues to lead in this class from Omar Balkasoon and then Justin Rothberg. Justin has not been able to eat into that gap to Omar Balkasoon. Omar is doing a fantastic job today. We really should find out what he had for breakfast.
Absolutely, it worked for him, didn't it?
Yeah, I think he went off the rail. That's a tradition here at Road America as well.
Okay.
And it's a 2.5 second lead for an Alfredo Chiarsi. So there are gaps throughout the field that have not changed.
So there you can see the number 38 car that is performing so very well. Michael Petramalo, and Amanda has got news on Michael.
Well, it's the first time we've seen him back in the Ferrari since Montreal, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't hanging around with the Ferrari family. He was actually out in Sonoma taking in the sceneries, was in by Winter Circle, and when we handed out the pole position plate to Brian Cook, rooting on his teammate. Also saw him at the Casa Ferrari in Pebble Beach, taking in the celebration there, but saying he couldn't wait to get back into his race car. And he gave super compliments to his team this weekend, saying right from the getting into the car here at Road America, the team had it perfect for setup and easy for him to get, as you say, back on the bike here this weekend.
Back on the bike.
And he has looked like he hasn't missed a race. I mean, not many people can harass Manny Franco and stay with him in the manner that he has done through the first 12 minutes of this race. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with Michael Petramalo.
So you should be. And look at this. He's taking a look at the inside of Manny Franco now. He's really worrying Manny there. And Manny, for the moment, is able to hold on to that. Just ahead of Manny Franco, of course, is John Bennett, the Foreign Cars Italia driver. So something of a three-way fight going on here now for potentially this P4 position in Trofeo Pirelli.
And how far ahead is Matt Krzyzewski? Answer, not very. So this could very quickly turn into a fight for a podium position as Manny Franco ran over a bit of debris that was left on the track from Dave Musial's car. That's another risk that you get when you run offline.
And got to say a big well done to Dave Musial, who managed to get the car to a position where the race didn't have to be neutralized. And that's brilliant stuff. You can just see one or two little shards there that you mentioned earlier on that sure enough they're out there on the track, so the drivers will avoid those, of course, to make sure they don't damage the Pirelli rubber that they're running on. And it is Triasi then who has got a margin of 2.3 seconds up the road ahead of Dylan Medler, then Matt Krzyzewski, and then it is John Bennett and Manny Franco, who we can see, and Michael Petramalo, and they're all into shot right now as they're continuing to fight over this P4 place between them. For Chris Cagnazzi, he's got the comfort cushion of Roberto Perena behind him, and here is Tony Davis in Trofeo Pirelli&AM. With Dave Musial 2.0 right behind, I believe.
Yeah, but look at what Tony Davis is looking at. That would be Justin Rothberg, the guy he's chasing in the championship, and he also sees a podium finish. So Tony Davis, who drove excellent yesterday in the race, braver than he's ever been, doing different things than he's ever attempted, harsher on the brakes. He said, I asked him about the brake bias because it looked like the tail of his car was so fishy. And he said, oh, I don't know. And so I said, well, are you doing anything different? And he said, I'm using far more brake pressure than I've ever used before in my life. And it was, well, that could have an effect on it too. But we need to watch his car and see if it is more stable, because he could have a car to attack Justin Rothberg again. So basically a repeat of what we've seen yesterday, except it's not for the lead of the class, it's for the last podium position.
Yes, it is. And Tony is trying to reel in Justin Rothberg here ahead of Justin Rothberg. It's Omar Balkasoon, who's got a good margin at the moment. So Tony Davis is going to do a good job here. And there you can see Dave Musial 2.0, of course, is in a different class, who is trying to find his way past Tony. And as you can see, just taking a look at where is he going to position the car. And Tony, though, is not pressured at all. He's just very, very conscious, and he's looking forward rather than backwards. And at the moment, Justin Rothberg can breathe a sigh of relief, but don't know whether it's going to last for the 15 and a half minutes that we've got remaining in this race.
Looking at this little points chart again, Justin Rothberg can finish 4th, and Tony Davis finished 3rd. The championship continues. If Rothberg finishes 3rd and Davis finishes 4th, the championship continues. So it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to lose anything by fighting for that last podium spot.
Right.
He can't gain enough, but he can lose enough, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So drive smart, Justin.
Yes.
You had your dad and your coach yelling at you yesterday. You've got Dave and I yelling at you today. We're happy to help.
Yes, of course. No invoices necessary. So there is Justin Rothberg then, who is, as I say, pretty comfortable running in that P3 position at the moment. Tony Davis making hasty chase as best he can, and it almost feels like he's being propelled a little bit by Dave Musial 2.0. Actually, here comes Manny Franco. Just taking a look at John Bennett. Wasn't able to make it work going into turn number 1, and once again Manny Franco runs really, really wide. Now, I said just a few moments ago, it seems like he's got the grips with what seemed to be a very difficult car in the early stages of this race.
Manny Franco, his driving has improved and evolved, is what I should say, because he's not long in racing in the world. And you watch his adaptability to race cars that perhaps aren't what he expects it to be. It's really a fun thing to do, because even over the course of this race, he's learned how to drive this car in these particular conditions and do it very well in only 15 minutes.
Yes, you're right. So there is John Bennett, then the Foreign Cars Italia driver. Then it's Manny Franco and Michael Petramalo and Jason McCarthy. Castadio Toledo, they are occupying the P5, 6, 7, and 8 positions in Trofeo Pirelli.
We have okay, that was just a weird moment on timing and scoring where there was a stopped indicator next to our leader, Onofrio Triarsi, that sent my heart skipping a beat, worrying for our leader. But nope, he is still out in front. We'll wait and see what the gap is the next time he comes around. But it is worth noting, Chris Cagnazzi has just reset the fastest lap for the Trofeo Pirelli&AM category. So he is still pushing very hard, with Roberto Perena still behind him. Oh, nope, Roberto has now gotten around. Okay, so now it is Omar Balkazoo, the next car on the road, but it's a 5-second gap, and there is a huge cloud of dust in the kink. I think that was just someone dropping a wheel. No, there is someone off. Is that Michael Petramalo?
I don't know.
It's a white car off on driver's right. After the most difficult part of the kink, if you will, green flag being displayed after the stopped car.
It looks like the car is moving, Shay.
It is.
Well done again to the drivers.
Full course caution is out, though. It is at a very dangerous part of the track. Race control not wanting to risk anything. So with 12 and a half minutes remaining, we have our first yellow of the weekend.
Which is a remarkable testament, isn't it, to our drivers?
And that is Michael Petramalo, unfortunately. So he will drop down from the 6th position. And our leader is still Onofrio Triarsi, but now Dylan Medler, Matt Krzyzewski right on his tail when we will go back to green.
Yes, this is going to make for a fascinating conclusion to this race, Shay, because with all due respect to the stricken car of Michael Petramalo, it's moving, therefore it's going to be put into a position of safety pretty quickly. I don't think this is going to be a long interruption.
No, and the great thing and the terrible thing is that it is a very long lap. So if you can move the car quickly, 1 lap of caution. If you can't, it takes several minutes to get around behind the safety car. So it can work in both ways. In this situation, I think it's a wonderful thing that it's a long lap, because Michael Petramalo has an opportunity to pull behind the wall at Canada Corner. He was very close to it. Back the car in there, and then for Michael, unfortunately, he can enjoy the rest of the race in the spectator stands at Canada Corner, which does present some pretty good viewing.
So, big losers in this, of course, Onofrio and Chris Cagnazzi, potentially.
Yes, Chris Cagnazzi is the driver who had the most to lose at the point in time when the caution came out, because he had more than a 5-second gap. But he does have the fastest car. He has set the fastest lap several times in that category.
Yes, the plot thickens in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli here. We're under the full course yellow at the moment. Just to give you the top three in each of the classes that you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Bear in mind, if it's got a red box, it's a Trofeo Pirelli driver. If it's a white box, a Trofeo Pirelli&AM driver. It's on a Ferrari P1, Dylan Medler P2, and Matt Kurdziewski, our championship leader, P3. And for Trofeo Pirelli&AM drivers, it's Chris Cagnazzi, Omar Balkasoon, and Justin Rothberg, who are P1, 2, and 3. And from a championship perspective, Shay, if everything stayed the way it is at the moment, Kurdziewski, I think you said, would have done enough.
Kurdziewski would have it clinched. Rothberg would not. So one of them would be done if it stays the way it is right now, which of course it won't, because we are going to go back to green flag racing. If it stays the way it is right now, Omar Balkasoon is looking at his first podium in this category.
That's remarkable. Yes, you're
Isn't
right.
that wonderful?
Yeah.
So we'll see. 10 minutes to go. A third of the race distance still left to play out in this game. And we do have a lot to play for, but Justin Rothberg doesn't need to hold on to that third position ahead of Tony Davis, because he can't leave here with the championship if Tony finishes in fourth or third and Rothberg finishes in fourth or third.
Okay, there he is, Omar Balkasoon then running in P2. What a great opportunity he's got now, potentially. I mean, a podium, magnificent. A P1.
Very well earned on what we saw from him in qualifying alone in very difficult conditions.
I agree.
Using the other cars around him to his advantage, Omar Balkasoon has a real opportunity today. And he does have Justin Rothberg behind him, who's playing the championship game, Chris Cagnazzi, who's playing the I want to win this race game because I won the other race that I've done this year where I got pole position. So it is an interesting opportunity for Omar. I really hope that he can make something happen with that. Now, you might notice the livery on his car. I made a joke earlier about using the Force. Star Wars is big for he and his kids, and Omar's kids actually helped design the race car, drawing the figures that you see on the side of it. It's part of just what we were talking about in the earlier race for Copichel. The liveries that are able to be displayed, the creativity and the love from each driver to craft the car into exactly what they want it to be. Omar Balkasoon is one of the best examples of that in this paddock. And to be honest, I love even the wheels being silver on the front and gold on the back. It's such a wonderful display of creativity, and, if I may say so, nerddom. And I'm happy to count myself amongst those people who think Star Wars is just wonderful and brings happiness. All right, we are behind the safety car. 8 minutes and 11 seconds to go as the field just coming through turn number 6 now. Hopefully we have the wreck cleared away, but before then, let's go to Amanda for a quick update on Matt Kurdziewski.
And Shay, we could be 8 minutes away from seeing a champion here before we even get to Italy, and that is a testament to the season that Matt Kurdziewski has had. I was talking to his driver coach, Alessandro Balzan, prior to this race of how he felt about the championship, and he threw his hands up. He said, I'm Italian. I'm too superstitious to think the thing can wrap up right here, but I have all faith in Matt Kurdziewski. But I want to go back to what he said ahead of this race. He said, I will have a harness on myself during this race, but come on, it's a restart here at Road America, your last race on North American soil. Can he keep that harness on?
Well, it depends on how hard he's been chewing on that leash, Amanda. And knowing Balzan, he'd probably use something that would be a bit steady to try and keep his driver within a shot at a first championship in this series. Matt Kurdziewski, 7 minutes potentially away, so the excitement can build. And yeah, that would be an Italian vacation for Matt. Although, no, he would go in there and try and beat up on some of the drivers that you get to see more regularly, Dave.
You're absolutely right, and as the cars are stacking up, as you can see, I mean, this is, again, we talked about script writing in terms of races that we enjoy talking about, but when you've got a position like this, it's absolutely wonderful for us as race fans.
Green flag will be displayed as soon as they get back up the hill, but Onofre Triarsi has gone early, and the field already getting back up to speed. The safety car is in the pit lane, and we are racing once again. 6.5 minutes to go here at Road America for the Ferrari Challenge North America round number 12. Who is going to be our overall race winner, and who's going to win it in class for Trofeo Pirelli&AM?
Trofeo Pirelli Pirelli Dash for Cash is on then. Look at Jason McCarthy diving to the inside there of Manny Franco. It was a big and bold effort, but it didn't actually pay off. And Manny Franco doing a good job there and holding on.
But there was a pass further back, and in the AM category, Tony Davis is on a provisional podium spot. He has made it up to the third place around Justin Rothberg. And like I said, the championship continues no matter what Rothberg did, being in third or fourth. But now Tony Davis has a trophy.
Oh, no.
And there is a coming together
That's
further
Porter.
back in the field. It's Michael Porter and Brad Favre in car number 66 going through turn 3. There is debris across the racetrack. Both cars are continuing, looking for that safe gap in the wall.
Oh.
And who else is that involved? I think it's Brandon Cruz in the number 37. Yes, it is.
So 3 cars potentially involved in that, and unfortunately, as you say, there's debris across the track there. So with 5.5 minutes of this race remaining, and often you and I say it so many times, you know, safety cars have these awful habit of course, bunching everyone up by nature, and therefore incidents do happen as a result of the back of a safety car, as Brad Favre then tries to put the car into a position of safety. Shay.
Well done, Brad. Chapeau to you. The pass was made back by Justin Rothberg on Tony Davis. So Davis back into the 4th position, but 3rd is not enough for Rothberg. That's not enough of a gap for him to clinch it. Belkacem is still in 2nd, but now he sees Chris Cagnazzi, and he sees a first possible career win in the Trofeo Pirelli&AM category.
Yes, and when you have that incentive, my goodness me, that must add a couple of 100s to your lap time, surely.
Gives you a few extra horsepower.
Yes, I think you're right. So Triasi from Midler, from Kojewski for Trofeo Pirelli. Then is Cagnazzi, who we're watching right now, who's leading in Pirelli&AM ahead of Omar Balkassoon. And you can see there that the fight with Justin Rothberg and Tony Davis, which was continuing for the moment, it's gone the way of Justin Rothberg. But we will see. We've still got 4 minutes of racing to come. But 4 minutes around such a long lap here does not relate to a huge amount of laps.
It's going to be 2 laps max for all the competitors in this season. What a season it has been so far. Justin Rothberg with the podium position as we see the battle going on for Trofeo Pirelli&AM, and it is still Balkassoon all over Chris Cagnazzi. Cagnazzi unable to stretch away, but that last lap, Onofrio Triarsi reset the fast last time.
You can just see some of the debris being caught by the drivers there, and those shards on those Pirelli tyres. Fingers crossed that they will all be okay. We will see with 3.5 minutes remaining in this race, and you can see there that the car getting very, very loose from Chris Cagnazzi. Then under braking, he has got the Custodio Toledo car right ahead of him. Custodio Toledo running in P8 in Trofeo Pirelli.
As I said, Chris Cagnazzi trying to repeat history of what he did at Homestead Miami Speedway. Pole position converted to a win. He got pole position here today. He's trying to make it 2 for 2. But Omar Balkassoon seeing a possibility as there's a spinner off in the background into the tires. Goes the number 14. That's Lawrence Win. Round, can he continue? There is a local yellow, but we are still green for the majority of the way around the track. Excellent job, Lawrence. Manages to get the car not only pointed in the right direction, but fired up once again, and the racing continues.
So when you're in the full course yellow situation, I'm just beginning to wonder here whether the tyre temps dipped significantly, and therefore you are trying to get the tyres back up to temperature again, aren't you? And therefore it's difficult.
It is. It's a lot trickier than it was when you were going around when it was full green flag racing conditions, and that's what all the competitors have to be mindful of. That's what the coaches will be saying on the radio. They should have been talking to their drivers in the yellow period to say, hey, brake hard. Weave a little bit, but brake hard. That's what gets your tire temp back up.
You're absolutely right. The heat dissipating out through the brakes onto the through the rims and onto the tires.
This should be the white flag displayed as all the Ferraris come across the start finish. I don't see it being waved yet, but last lap should be indicated on our timing screens here in just a moment. Manny Franco has caught up to the back of John Bennett and wants that 4th place position. Behind him is Jason McCarthy, still mired in 6th.
Well, Manny Franco is really looking at John Bennett here, and where will he try and pursue a move? It's difficult to do here, and you're absolutely right, Shay, as we get the final lap notification on screen. So it's this lap then, and the remainder of this lap. It's all that the drivers have, and here we can see this battle that is going on here, which is really, really enjoyable to watch, and the headlights are flashing just just trying to unsettle the 29 car of Justin Rothberg is Dave Musial Jr. at 2.0, who is doing the chasing there.
Not a battle for position in class, so Rothberg can let him go. Behind is Tony Davis, 3.3 seconds back. Rothberg loses nothing by letting Musial through.
No, you're absolutely right. So we pick up on the car there of Triazzi, then Ferrari of Central Florida, Dylan Medler P2, Matt Kodziewski, Ferrari Beverly Hills driver, who I have to say I first met him when he was racing in the Ferrari Challenge Winter Series out in the Middle East in January and February, and got to know him pretty well, and I have to say the talent that he showed there has shone all season long, if I can be honest with you, here in Ferrari Challenge.
It has been a very impressive year here in North America. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins on the year out of 12 races. A 50% win ratio is not bad, but for this man, Onofrio Triarsi, he has a 50% win ratio as well on the season. Yesterday with the second place finish. Today, he is the first car to see the checkered flag, and Onofrio Triarsi is an overall race winner in the Trofeo Pirelli category for the 488 Challenge car.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Dylan Medler taking P2, Matt Kodziewski taking P3, Chris Cagnazzi then for Pirelli&AM ahead of Omar Balkasoon and Justin Rothberg. They are the top three in each of the classes. Triazzi, Medler, Kodziewski, and then it is Cagnazzi, Balkasoon and Rothberg for the Trofeo Pirelli&AM drivers. So plenty of drama in that race as Shay is doing the number crunching as we speak, just making sure that what we think we've got in terms of points allocations are correct. As you can see, Christopher Cagnazzi then the winner for Ferrari of Long Island, taking the win in Trofeo Pirelli&AM ahead of Omar Balkasoon and Justin Rothberg. But Onofrio Triazzi then winner for Trofeo Pirelli for Ferrari of Central Florida.
Okay, by my unofficial math, and you forgive me, or chart reading, my unofficial chart reading, neither of the drivers involved in the championship lead got the bonus point for the fastest lap. Neither of the drivers involved in the championship lead got the point for pole position. So we have 146 points for Matt Kodziewski. Next best, 101. With 34 points on offer, unofficially, Matt Kodziewski is the 2023 champion for Trofeo Pirelli. As far as we are concerned for Trofeo Pirelli&AM, unofficially, Justin Rothberg coming home in third, earned 133 points. Tony Davis coming home in fourth, earned 102 points, or is now on 102 points. 34 points on offer means that Tony Davis can still beat Justin Rothberg if Tony Davis has a perfect weekend and Justin Rothberg does not.
Well, there you
It's
go.
not said and done.
It's not said and done, and you've done the work there, and I am grateful, and all of us are grateful to you for doing that. Is the unofficial position just
Very
making
much
that
unofficial.
just making
Provisional.
that provisional, making that that clear. So drivers then all parked up and ready to celebrate, and maybe the celebrations for Matt Kodziewski are going to be bigger and bolder than the other celebrations that go on down there. We will see. So there you can see. Drivers jumping out of the car, and Chris Cagnazzi is very happy indeed. So it's going to be Omar Balkasoon, and they are being congratulated by Louis Colmash, head of Ferrari Challenge here in North America. So stand by, we'll bring you the confirmed results then. Onofrio Triazzi taking the win from Dylan Medler and Matt Kodziewski, then the 1, 2, 3. Ahead of Jonathan Bennett, Manny Franco, Jason McCarthy, Roberto Perena, and Custodio Toledo. Now for the AM drivers, Christopher Cagnazzi. P9 in the race overall, but P1 in class, Omar Balkasoon. P10 overall, P2 in class, Justin Rothberg taking P3. So the rest of the order with Dave Musial Jr. P12 in the race overall, then Tony Davis, Michael Mathis, Mark Musso, Chuck Whittle, and then of course we saw a number of drivers fall by the wayside during the course of that race, regrettably, but drama in the race, and really enjoyable race for us to enjoy as well. Chris Cagnazzi is with Amanda right now.
Well, Chris, at Homestead in race number 2, you took the pole, took the race win. Race number 2, Road America. You take the pole, you take the race win. Can we say this is a pattern developing?
Mr. Sunday, maybe. I'm not sure. Not so good on the Saturdays, but the Sundays seem to work out well. So, really excited.
Just talk about your weekend here at Road America. I know we see you a few times throughout the year. What brought you out here?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's an unbelievable track, right? It's one of the top 3 or 4 in the U.S. The resurfacing, right? I was really excited to see what that grip was like, and this car performs unbelievable on this track. So,
congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
I feel like that's a man who's in the very early stages of a very bad hangover. Big party to come tonight for our Trofeo Pirelli&AM winner, Chris Cagnazzi, and also perhaps Omar Balkasoon with a great finish to earn his first podium in the Trofeo Pirelli&AM class. Let's take a look at these points. Again, unofficially, Justin Rothberg on 133, Tony Davis on 102. 31 points separate them, 34 points, the maximum to be gained over in Italy. Brian Cook in 3rd, Mark Musso in 4th, Chuck Whittle 5th. But a good day from Chris Cagnazzi, who only ran the 2 race weekends, vaults himself up several positions in the championship to be well up in the top 10. So a really good showing for him amongst the 18 drivers who have participated in this class so far in 2023. Really good effort from our AM competitors all day today, including in qualifying, but overall, it's done. Matt Kurgieski, 47 points ahead of Jason McCarthy, who did have a very good weekend to get back up into 2nd in the championship. Roberto Perena, 3rd. Dylan Medler still 4th. Manny Franco, 5th. Carlos de Quesada not running this weekend in 6th. And Onofrio Triarsi, with that race win, is now 7th in the championship. And we can hear from him, our race winner today, 2nd yesterday. He's with Amanda Busick now.
As you said, Shay, it's a double podium weekend for our 2-time champion here in Ferrari Challenge. And Onofrio, I know your team was out by the wall. Your parents were here screaming as well. Your dad's over there recording this interview. But you show up, you take the win. Triarsi fields a lot of cars out here. How much of this was a team effort?
We do. It's always a big team effort. You know, we came out here, we got to test, and the team put a great car together, and we worked really well together, and it was really an amazing weekend.
You said your goal here this weekend was to gain seat time. How much of that was acquired?
Oh, it was great. I mean, you know, to practice race starts, restarts, it's always helpful for us.
Onofrio Triarsi, another win here in Ferrari Challenge.
He's going to be a happy guy, especially after yesterday, just coming up slightly short of that win. It looked like it was going to happen at the exit of turn 14, and love to see the hug between he and Matt Kurgieski at the podium. It'll be a good champagne celebration between them. Well, on behalf of Dave Richardson, I'm Shay Adam, and thanks again to Amanda Busick down in the pit lane for us all weekend. And thank you for joining us in the 2023 Ferrari Challenge North America season. You'll get to see these cars again when they are running over in Italy for the Ferrari Mondiali Championship. We'll still have to decide some champions, but this weekend we at least set one. So thank you so much for being a part. We'll see you again soon.